Hey guys, June Green here with another installment of Juju Reviews, and I'm sorry if it looks like I just rolled out of bed, because I did. I got a lot of stuff to do today. I decided to wake up a little early, do this video, talk about some Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2016. So Ghostbusters 2016 is a remake to the popular 80s movie, the original Ghostbusters. And this one has a little gender swapping in it. Well, not a little, it's a lot. The main characters are played by Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. Now these are all extremely funny women. I like a lot of their shtick. I just started getting into Kate McKinnon and seeing what she could do on Saturday Night Live, and she does seem like a real talent. Before this whole thing started, a lot of people started giving Ghostbusters a lot of crap, either because it had all women in it, or somebody claimed that it was ruining their childhood, or that the trailers just looked flat out bad. Now I'll say from the get-go, when I first saw some of these trailers, I didn't think the trailers looked as bad as people were saying. Sure, there were some jokes in there that didn't really hit for me, but overall I was still excited to see this movie. And I was never a really huge Ghostbusters fan to begin with. I mean, I love Ghostbusters, don't get me wrong, but I was never like a super large diehard fan of Ghostbusters. You won't catch me at the nearest convention with a proton pack on my back, although I really can't afford to go to a convention, so maybe that's the reason why. So the movie picks up with Erin Gilbert, I hope that's her name. Erin Gilbert, played by Kristen Wiig. She is a professor at Columbia University, and she finds out that she has this book about, there's this book that she wrote in the past with her friend Abby, played by Melissa McCarthy, about ghosts. One thing leads to another. They meet Kate McKinnon, they run up with Leslie Jones, and then boom, you have the Ghostbusters because paranormal things are happening. The movie also stars Chris Hemsworth as a really dumb and stupid secretary, and I mean that in the best way. So I think it would be best to break this down into acts, because I found myself watching this movie and seeing it in acts. Alright, let's start with the first act. Now the first act started really strong. It sets up the characters pretty well. It pretty much got pretty right into it. It's not like a bunch of other origin stories, because a lot of origin stories take the time to get into the superhero costume. The superhero costumes in this one being the Ghostbusters costume. They don't put a whole lot of time, kind of setting that up. They set the ghost right then and there. You're off and running, and I'm enjoying myself for the most part. The jokes are flying at a mile a minute. I'm laughing a bunch. Even the first ghost that you see, like, I thought the CGI was going to be pretty terrible, but that was from the very first teaser. So obviously teasers don't have full-blown footage of what the movie's actually going to look like. And what I saw in the movie right here, I actually really liked. So good job to the special effects team for making that happen. When you meet all these characters for the first time, they each do have their distinct personality. I'll start with Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig doesn't really have a it's a distinct personality, but it's not a personality that makes you go like, oh, that's her character. I mean, the most that she does is she kind of like flirts with Chris Hemsworth a lot, but who wouldn't flirt with that guy? So can I call that a personality trait? Maybe not. Maybe that's just a fact. Anyone who's been in contact with Kristen Wiig or Melissa McCarthy's shtick in any of their previous movies, especially one that they did together previously, Bridesmaids, you're pretty much going to get a little bit more of the same here, mixed in with a lot of scientific mumbo jumbo. Speaking of scientific mumbo jumbo, Kate McKinnon was the wild card for me, because I don't really know her that much. All I know from her is her little sketch characters on Saturday Night Live, but I think she was one of the runaway stars in this movie. She is very eccentric. That's the best way I could describe her character. She's very all over the place, and a lot of scenes she gets, she kind of steals the spotlight from everybody else, hands down. She has these weird little quirks, like she winks at sometimes. She kept doing this thing where, when she got excited, she would just put one leg up and go like that. No, I'm not wearing shoes. But overall, like I said, her character is eccentric, and it kind of goes all over the place, and I'll get to that in a minute. Leslie Jones, I was also not really familiar with. I see her in previous movies as a big character, but it's good to see her take on a main starring role in this movie. She comes in as the every girl, the everyman to the every girl in New York City. She knows a lot about New York. She wants to get down with the team, and she has a lot of natural humor. Honestly, I didn't really see a character in this role. I just saw Leslie Jones living this in real life. I think people just happened to catch it on film, and that was Leslie Jones' character. Chris Hemsworth is a scene stealer in this movie. Who knew this guy knew how to do comedy? Every scene that he's in is just flat out hilarious, and like someone once said, it takes a real genius to play stupid. Chris Hemsworth, you get an A+, my friend. Now let's break this down to the second act, where the movie starts to show a lot of its problems. Like I said, the movie throws a lot of jokes a mile a minute, especially through Kate McKinnon's character. I like her character, but she is all over the place, and it just kind of sums up what this movie is really about. And all over the place, I mean, since they throw so many jokes at you at so many different times, so many different styles of jokes, then a lot of them are either hit or miss. Now I'm gonna say around a shotting range of 100. I would have to say 50 of the jokes landed for me. And for a comedy, that may not work for some people, but at least I laughed like 50% of the time. So, you know, I'm gonna make it a pass on the comedy front in my point. The special effects look amazing when they're busting ghosts. I mean, the proton packs, obviously it's gonna look a lot better because we're in 2016. The original was about 30 years ago. But these new weapons look pretty cool, and it's actually something that I would want to see in real life. I actually might buy one, put it on the wall over there. The ghosts look amazing. Like I said before, that I thought that the special effects were going to be really like Scooby-Doo-esque. Yeah, you know what those ghosts look like. But no, these ghosts actually looked really scary. Not like Conjuring level scary, but a lot of these ghosts did have that spooky element to them. Then in the second half, we get introduced to the villain of the movie, and this villain, he sucks. They spend little to no time with his character development. We don't know who he is. He has no relation to the Ghostbusters whatsoever. He's a little fudge. I'm gonna just call him a fudge. And the third act is actually pretty good. Like, I really like the climax of the movie because since it's an updated take, the action set pieces in this is really great. And then you can actually see these 4 actresses who have shown great chemistry throughout most of the movie. That's one thing you cannot deny. These girls have great chemistry together. All that chemistry comes together in this final fight against all the ghosts that you saw in the trailers that are just flying around, walking around, Slimering around. Yep, Slimer's back. And it's a really good 15 minutes of action that I really enjoyed. Even Kate McKinnon, I'm gonna just say her again. She gets this one scene that she's just like, they put the spotlight on her and she's just taking over, shooting and grabbing, and woo, I like her. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, Ghostbusters is not a perfect movie, but it is nowhere near as bad as everybody was making it out to be. People were saying that they were not gonna watch this movie strictly because it's gonna ruin their childhood or it looked unfunny. It probably won't win you over, but it's still not something that you thought was gonna be as bad. If you like your original Ghostbusters, don't see this movie. Just watch your original Ghostbusters in your house, in your man cave, whatever you want to do it. But I'm saying, if you're just looking for a fun comedy directed by Paul Feig and you like Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, all those principal characters, if you want to see Chris Hemsworth give a great comedic performance, then this movie is for you. Just know that the jokes are not always going to hit and it's kind of all over the place. And I'm gonna just say Kate McKinnon's gonna be a dividing character in this whole thing. But Leslie Jones does have the chops. Alright guys, so that's my review on Ghostbusters 2016. Make sure you watch a bunch of my other videos. I try to do each video like every week or every other week, maybe 2 times in a week. That's when the special time comes out. But if you guys have any other movies that you want me to review, whether they're past or present, classic or modern, I'm willing to do it. If you have any lists that you want me to come up with, any rants in the entertainment industry that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. Remember, if you want to hit me up on social media, I'm on all social media as @StrawHatGoofy, @_hat_Goofy. And remember, I'm a dude in his room talking to a camera. Love you.